Can you read the quote once more?
Don't eat with people you wouldn't starve with.
I'm not going to make my wife sacrifice her purpose to support my purpose. Because if I love her, I'm gonna be right there supporting her and making sure she has time to do what she loves, because that's what makes her special. If I take away from her what makes her special, I might even fall out of love with her. And we forget that. We think that if I change this person, they'll be more lovable. But as you try and change someone, you take away the parts you actually even love about them right now.
You might have to eat differently. Like you might have to change friends. You might have to study sleep, you know, to get from B's to A's. It's like the difference between good and great, it is underestimated by most humans.
How you feel about yourself is the most important choice you will ever make in your life. And it's a choice because the way you feel about yourself is based on the thoughts you choose to believe about yourself. So if a thought you have about yourself is, I'm not good enough, and you keep repeating that thought, you will start to believe that thought, and that thought will become your reality. And now you've chosen that thought so many times that that is the life you've chosen for yourself.
We are who we are when nobody's watching. If you want to know who you really are, be on your own. Go somewhere on your own, on holiday or whatever, and that's who you are. If you're driving along and you throw the soda can out of the window of the car, that's who you really are. No one does that with kids in the back. Monster. But if you do that, if that's who you, it's interesting to kind of note that. You know, it's the difference between character and reputation. You know, you really know who you are. Reputation is what everyone else thinks about you, but you know who you are in yourself.
I'd say one of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell. And that means the harder it is, the bigger the dragon, the more epic the story, and by consequence, the more epic the hero. And if you think about the difference between winners and losers, winners define themselves by what they made happen, and losers define themselves by what happened to them.
But it's a beautiful thing to sit back and watch people make mistakes, learn from their mistakes, grow and evolve, and just be there to hold their hand and support them.
Champions just interpret anxiety as excitement. And if you're excited to go up, then you're like, I'm amped, versus I'm stressed. But it feels the same, but the way you frame it totally changes how you feel when you're stepping on stage. But my 2 cents of, if you are feeling lots of anxiety, it means you need to practice more. That's just my 2 cents. And that comes for everything, whether it's to have a meeting or give a presentation or write an email or do a book. Like if you feel nervous before you release it, then you probably didn't work on it enough.
Jimmy Carr broke my brain with this one. Everyone is jealous of what you've got. No one is jealous of how you got it. People see the trophies, but not the training ground.
Everybody wants the view, but no one wants the climb. I love it.
And I promise you, every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through. And it's the lonely chapter. It's the chapter where you don't fit in with your own friends, but you don't have the outcomes yet to fit into a new group of friends. And you're doing this thing, you're consuming content on the internet, you're doing these free tutorials online to try and figure out how to set up a podcast and where do I host this thing? And then you're going through this and you're like, is this even worth it? Because you have no signs of success, right? But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now, is that the sign of success is the hate that you get along the way.
The question is, what is the best advice you've ever received or heard?
Something that I've learned about time is just that we never have enough of time. So really be present and make the most of your relationships, because we're not here very long and we have one life. In relationships, you can love a person, miss a person so much, but still have the wisdom to know they're not your person and you're better off not together. That like opposite connection with everything, I think, is really important to have that awareness.
Only thing that you can do is win so big that all of them constantly compare themselves to you, and then you'll forget they exist.
I blame no one. I look in the mirror. On the other side of it, what an opportunity we have because tomorrow's the first day of the rest of our lives. So what an opportunity we have to practice what he preached.
We have a lot of people, especially men, going through mental health, mental problems, and they just don't talk about it. They scared of talking about it. It's not easy for a man to do it, because a man always have to have shit together, like I'm a man. I never have a problem. I take care of everything, but that's not the way it works.
There's nothing you can buy in a shopping mall that you will give a fuck about in 10 years. Nothing. There's nothing for you there. Fast forward, do something for you in 5 years' time. Don't buy the thing. You don't need it.
People don't really realize what it takes to win, right? And it's like there's a great quote. Don Simpson, who was one of the original producers of the first Bad Boy, saw a screen and it was really good. And he said, I said, man, it's good. It's at about 90%. And he said the great thing about being at 90% is at least you're halfway there. Right?